We have a distinguished Professor Hilary Inyang is joining us live from Abuja. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Comrade MKO.
Thank you so very much.
Good morning to all your listeners. That are doing quite a great job. Democracy requires a program such as yours. Now, let's say good morning to Professor Udok.
Good morning, Prof. Good to hear from you.
And others who are in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Prof. We have Associate Professor Happiness Udok. She has said that it is unfortunate that we can have a roadmap in the education sector, but it is not followed. And where one has a roadmap and decides to abandon it to crop in the dark, to go with ad hoc arrangements, she has really taken a very exception to that.
Seriously.
And I think that goes in line with what you've been saying over time. But maybe just in a minute, would you want to just add your voice to the roadmap that you, midwife, as a chairman, in just a minute, sir?
As you know, let me prefix that by saying that education is the engine of all socio-economic development efforts.
Right.
And the capacity and accomplishments of any government at any jurisdictional level is not only measurable by how many roads, how many buildings, how many hotels, and how many fountains they perform, but their capacity to devise systems to extract the intellect of the population to do good and raise their standard of living. Having said that, the roadmap, the Akwa Ibom State roadmap, strategic roadmap on education that I chaired with the involvement of so many Akwa Ibom intellectuals, practicing people who have taught for years in the state and elsewhere, was not only a formal roadmap, but plans, protocols, and procedures for improving educational facilities, for improving curricula, and for improving processes for the education of the people of Akwa Ibom State, especially the youth. So it is extremely surprising to me that when the Moino government came, there was no attempt to follow up on that.
Okay.
That document
Yes, sir.
has a lot of data that were collected on site on all the primary schools, the secondary schools, their needs, statistics on teachers that are absent, and many other parameters that are needed to make Akwa Ibom State the best educated state in Nigeria.
Now, I can't fail but just mention this. You are still being indebted to, and the phase 2 of that program was meant to break down the 17 initiatives to the level that international agencies, donor agencies can make use of. Please, if you can do that, even if it's 30 seconds, so that we go into some of the other issues, I'll be very happy, sir. Has government contacted you over your debt, the 11 million that you have been owed?
Nobody has contacted me on that. Despite my writing a reminder to the governor with a copy to the Commissioner of Education, it just shows none of disregard for those who've been doing this in many other countries. The initiatives are very many and varied, and I can tell you that if progress was made to phase 2, many of the challenges that are confronting the state right now in the educational sector would have been eliminated, and foreign partners would have come in, collaborators from all sectors in Nigeria, from the industrial sectors would have come in, and the state would be doing very well with respect to the translation from kindergarten to primary school to secondary school to tertiary institutions.
Thank you, Prof.
The plan is very comprehensive. It's not merely a roadmap, but protocols, forms, numbers, and areas of attack that need to be implemented so that the state can confront its challenges in the educational sector
Thank you, Prof.
Above most of the other states.
Thank you, Prof. That is heard clearly, and we are going to do everything possible to amplify this, because we cannot have foreign partners, donor agencies who were waiting in the wings to be able to come and show Nigeria what it means for a state to have a master plan. Still talking about the master plan, I heard of something. Akwa Ibom State Sustainable Development Roadmap. You had a role to play there. What would you say about that? Because people like us and a lot of persons have been hearing that for the first time. What is the Sustainable Development Roadmap for Akwa Ibom State, and how were you involved?
Well, in about 2016, the governor, through the commissioner of environment at that time, and he's still there. His name is Dr. Essien. I think he's a medical doctor.
Yeah, in Obong Essien.
Contacted me to put an effort to author an economic development plan, sustainable development plan for Akwa Ibom State. We did a lot of investigations in all the local government areas to look at their economic potential, and we have catalogued it and devised systems for establishing industries in every local government of Akwa Ibom State, all the 31 local government areas. And we cataloged how much it would take, how many people would be employed, who are to be deployed, and how they would operate. I thought that would be an excellent document for a governor who is interested in the economic development of the state. Just like the education roadmap, it was ignored. It is still there. I will provide the document to you to make it available to our Ibomites. Meanwhile, that document was used as an example by Nigeria at the COP21 meeting in Rabat, Morocco. They used that in Marrakesh, Morocco, as an example for what jurisdictions in Africa should do. But in Akwa Ibom State, it has been ignored. That information is very critical to any effort to develop Akwa Ibom State, at least to create small-scale to medium-scale industries in every local government area.
Right.
We have done preliminary calculations that are all summarized in that document.
Prof, you're making me emotional. This is radio, and I must take charge. Sometimes we thought, or we feel we have heard it all, until we meet people that matters a lot. Prof, actually, I didn't know it was going to take this dimension, because the promo we did and what we have been running for the past 2 months on borrowed funds and feeding money of my family and little support that we could get even from His Royal Majesty Edidem Inyang, the paramount of it too, who happens to be the chairman of our advisory board. We have this program. I don't know, maybe I even owing as I'm talking with you. By the time I leave, they will call me, please, you have not settled. We've been running a series called Stock Taking and Agenda Setting for an Akwa Ibom without oil, because we are 86.29% dependent on federal allocations. We've been doing that for the past 2 months running. And this very edition of the program, I had intended to have you talk about how we can harness Akwa Ibom best brains at home and in diaspora for development. Because everything cannot be about politics. Even if you are a traditional ruler, if you are not seen to be in sympathy with a particular party, even if you are a religious leader, you must be in sympathy with somebody or a party before you are invited. And people can go for a meeting like His Excellency did. A most wonderful, wonderful idea that Nigeria should copy. Exco ministerial briefing. Commissioner, come and say what you have done. People ask questions. But what we had here were people who were just clapping. They did not even hear what was happening. They were doing endorsement. They were doing all of that. That's why we are advocating that subsequently analysts should be invited. Analysts are stakeholders. Other stakeholders may just be people by virtue of how they were placed. They will go there, they have to behave. No, we analysts, we help government. Now, you are a recipient of the Nigerian National Order of Merit Award, which is held by very few persons in the history of Nigeria. And there are others like you with other levels of acknowledgement. What will you suggest, before I will go to a question on science where you are an expert, what will you suggest the state government should do to harness the enormous mental capacity, including wealth, to be able to bring and help develop Akwa Ibom State? Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. I'll make this very short because we have a video program. You remember that I just prefixed my remarks by saying that the strength and capacity of any government, be it the Akwa Ibom State government or the national government, is measurable by the means and its capacity to create a framework for many people to come and contribute their talent towards the economic development of the states. Because the state is not a private property of any entity or political party. It is a common stock for all peoples who are Akwa Ibomites.
Yes, sir.
Number one, the state has to take appraisal of its natural resources. People like us have cataloged that for the state at no cost. And then the state has to identify who the talents are in the state. Does the state have any roll call or any list of our experts in the different sectors of knowledge and different sectors of the state economy? No, I don't think so. If the state has that, it is likely to be populated by political guides. Those politics does not accomplish much beyond a few elements of governance. The state has to do that. Number one, oil is not going to last forever.
Absolutely.
The next focus of Nigeria's interest, socio-economic interest, is the mineral sector. What has the state done in that? Go to that Akwa Ibom development, sustainable development roadmap that I did. We have catalogued all minerals and all of the things in all the local government areas of the state. That is where to begin the economic development assessment of the state.
Okay.
And to bring together those systems that we have proposed here.
Thank you, Prof.
We also ask the question,
Yes, sir.
what is the state to do? Where is the science park in Uyo? What has happened to the South Science Park over the past 25 years? Successive movements have failed to develop that into the technological idea bank of the state that would connect to systems in all the local government areas, provide ICT services, become the place that foreign investors would come and find capacity that can match. Why is it not possible to do that? I did that for using only 8 months in Botswana, an entire country. Why is it not possible to do that over 25 years?
Thank you, Prof.
So, people have got to get serious.
Yes.
The government has got to get serious. We can do that thing in less than 2 years.
Thank you.
With all the facilities.
Thank you, Prof.
Install all the systems.
Thank you,
Link
Prof.
all the experts. Link the local government areas
Mm.
and their administrations to it so that that place can develop.
I thank you.
Many decades after sending citizens of the state to the United States and Europe, when education was recognized as the engine of the socio-economic development
Yes.
of the people, why are systems following in unemployment, extreme poverty?
We want to do this. Prof, I know you can go on and on. I know you can go on and on.
Yes.
We will have you on a podcast because I have told people that Open Forum with Citizen NKO on radio is just where we just give snippets of what we do, but we have a podcast which we will do everything possible going forward to be sure that we deal with issues. We do not do psychophancy. We have grown past a level of stomach infrastructure. After all, we are doing it with bare hands. What we are doing with others may never be able to do with 1 billion. So I thank you that you've touched on that.